What's going on, NuCanoe Nation? Facebook, YouTube, how you doing this evening? Hope you're having a wonderful start to your work week. Hope you enjoyed the weekend, got out on the water, everybody was safe, caught fish, all that good stuff. Drop in the comments where you guys are tuning in from, what boat you're floating out of. Go down in that lower left-hand corner and smash that share button. Let's get some folks in here. We got a little over a month ago to iCast. We will have some live shows from the NuCanoe booth. Look forward to that. All kinds of good stuff going on down there. I think that's it for updates. I don't know. My man Everett. Everybody give Everett a hard time, man. I said, talk to me more, brother. And he's been dodging me. Paul Collins in the chat. When are y'all going to get some kayaks built and sent to Gulfport, Mississippi? I couldn't tell you the answer to that. What I recommend you doing is reaching out to your local dealer, talk to them. They should have an updated schedule on when their boat should arrive. I know Blake Young, he was on a podcast a couple of weeks ago. They've been keeping all the dealers updated as far as ship times and stuff like that goes. As far as I know, everything is still on track. I know my local shop is still on track. So just keep checking in with your dealers. They should have updated ETAs for you guys. I know you're anxious. They're coming. They're coming. The wait will be worth it, my friend. Corey Taylor tuning in from California. Still waiting on their unlimited to arrive. They're coming, my friend. They're coming. They're coming. We got a pretty cool guest who resides in the great state of West Virginia with us tonight. I was told this is going to be a fun one. He's a chatty cat, and he likes getting out on his NuCanoe. He runs our NuCanoe division in Virginia, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania, I believe. I think that's right. He's not shaking his head, so we'll see. That's not right, he's saying. But I was close, he said. I was close. Paul Collins, to answer your question real quick, most popular kayak right now for NuCanoe is the Unlimited. I mean, that has been the hot commodity lately, but don't overlook the Pursuit, the Frontier 12, the Flint. All depends on what type of fishing and what type of waters you're going to be using, my friend. We got Romel in the house, the wizard himself. What's up, brother? Let's get our guest in here. Patrick, my man, how you doing?
Pretty good, buddy. How are you?
I was close. What did I miss?
So it's West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and the Ohio.
Oh. See, I got friends in Ohio. There was a reason why I left that out there.
I don't know why.
You know what? Ohio's that one weird state, man, and I always feel bad for them because, like, especially in the fishing tournament world, like when there's like when KBF had divisions, they were like, all right, do we put them in the Midwest? Do we put them in the Northeast? Like, you know what I mean? But can't forget our Ohioans.
Yes.
Well, welcome to the show, my friend. Glad to have you here tonight. You know the drill. You said this is going to be an interesting story. The first question I always start with is, how you got into kayak fishing in general, and then how you got into NuCanoe and on the NuCanoe team. And I guess that's the interesting part of the story here.
Yeah, it's a very good one. It's a good one. So basically, I got started in kayak fishing kind of by accident. I always liked the odd backwater, small creek stuff like that. And I was actually I was in Myrtle Beach on vacation, and we stopped into a coffee shop, and my buddy I was with, we sat down at a table, and laying on that table was a copy of Kayak Angler magazine. And a lot of newbies don't know about that magazine back in the day, but that was like the only way to get solid information.
Yep.
In the kayak world. That was like the holy grail of info back in those days. This is in like 14, 15-ish.
Sure.
And it was laying face down. And on the back was a NuCanoe ad. And it had the Frontier. I still have the magazine. It had the Frontier 12. And I believe it might have been Everett. I'm not sure. He was standing up casting. And I was like, man, that boat looks like what I want. And I came home and started researching, and I found the closest dealer at that time was in Columbus, Ohio. Brett Chumley had Columbus Kayak. Some of the OG guys will remember that place and loved Brett and Columbus Kayak. That was really my first relationship with a dealer, and it was a good one. So I called him up, and I said, Brett, I need a Frontier. And he was like, everybody needs a Frontier. He's like, is an F10. And I was like, okay, cool. So now 2015, I don't care if Blake hears me say this, our collars were just awful. Sand, lime, mango. I think those were the options. And he had a lime and a mango.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen the mango in person. And I said, Brett, I said, what's the mango? And he was like, well, he's like, don't take this the wrong way. He's like, but I can tell by the sound of your voice, you're not a mango guy. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. I said, well, save that lime one. I'll drive up Saturday morning and buy it. So I do go up there, and I just hit it off with him. It was a cool place, and it was a really awesome shop. So come home. I'm like, okay, so I'm fishing out of it. And then I told my father-in-law, I was like, man, I'm really enjoying this. He was like, you should check out, I saw on the internet, there's this thing called Mountain State Kayak Anglers, and it's a local club, and they fish tournaments. And I'm like, oh man, that's cool. So I look them up, and I join, show up, fish the first tournament. Of course, I show up, and everybody's like, what the heck is that kayak? Because, that one, it had the old bass boat seat on it. And, it didn't have a lot of, I don't know, flashy items, I guess you'd say. Some of the kayaks in those days came with water bottles and, all the neat little gadgets that you don't really use. And, oh man, yeah, there it is.
There's the mango right there, boys and girls.
Yeah. So I fished and this and that, and it went pretty good. This was in 2015. So winter hits, and I keep fishing. I get a little bit better, and I meet some really, really cool dudes. I mean, man, I have met probably my best friends that I'll have till the day I die because of kayaks and Mountain State Kayak Anglers. And Mountain State Kayak Anglers, to me, was probably one of the first what I call semi-professional trail. I mean, you had KBF, and it was cool, but I mean, they were getting like 30 people. We were averaging like 120.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was insane.
That's crazy.
2016 comes along, and it's like, we're averaging, I think in 2016, we were averaging 100 an event. I mean, we were giving away thousands of dollars at each event in prizes. It was nothing to win $1,500-$1,600 at an event. Big bass was usually $500-$600 on top of that. It was really cool. We had Matt Ball, Jody Queen, Brian Aliff, all those guys fished a lot. It was kind of the starting ground for a lot of guys who've really made it huge. So we were doing things on a level that nobody else in the country was doing. And Everett Park had actually been following along because, we were doing big things. So, and I don't know if you can see it right there, that check right there.
Yep.
2016. And we get to, it's July, and it was actually one of the smaller tournaments we had that year because it was like 110 in the shade that weekend. It was just a brutal wave. And man, I just got lucky, found the fish, and won that one. But we had sponsors like Rocky Boots, Cabela's, good Lord, huge sponsors that year. And we had a giant stage set up at the Cabela's in Charleston. There was probably 50, 60 people at the weigh-in, and we were live streaming it. We had all the big checks. We did it just like professionals do it.
Sure.
It was called the Capital City Classic, blah, blah, blah. So I win it, and MSKA posts the picture, and I get a message from Everett and says, hey, man, just saw, you won the Capital City Classics. I noticed you were in a NuCanoe, blah, blah, blah. He's like, you want to talk some shop? I'm like, sure, man. So I call him. I'm ecstatic. And he's like, man, won't you come on and join the team? I'm like, man, I'd love to do that. So, boom, I get on board. And then, I'm just pretty much have no idea what I'm doing. This is all new to me. Fast forward, 2017, I'm probably just – Everett's probably annoyed with me at this point because I just continue to talk to him and text him and call him and all that fun stuff. And so we kind of hit it off. We become better friends. And 2017, 18, somewhere in there, I got promoted to regional director. It was one of them things where NuCanoe kind of took off in this area. And, I have no idea, but I know we went from one boat to like 30 per event, top 10 in events, stuff like that. And that was pretty cool. And so I become regional director. We go to ICAST, all this. Everything's great. And Everett and I actually struck up a pretty tight friendship. I consider him family. I do anything for him. So first trip to Georgia was in 2019. And I go down because shoal bass is obviously a bucket list fish. And we get down there and we're fixing some dinner and hanging out and talking. And he starts laughing and he's like, man, I've been around you enough to see that you can handle funny stuff and the way the guys give you a hard time and you love it and you laugh about everything. He's like, I feel like I can tell you something and you not read too much into it. And I'm like, yeah, that's no problem, buddy. Hit me with it. And he's like, well, you remember in 2016 when I called you and wanted you to join the team and all this? And I was like, yeah. He was like, that was actually a mistake. And I'm like, a mistake? Like, what do you even mean by that? And he was like, well, he's like, it was a great mistake. It obviously worked out. He said, but we didn't realize you had just won a tournament. He said, you guys were doing things on such a large level. We thought you were like the angler of the year. Like you just won like the biggest trail in the United States and, blah, blah, blah. And it was so funny, man. And he was like, but you were so happy and you were so excited. He's like, I just didn't have the heart to tell you. And he's like, so we just let it go and seen where it took off. And, it obviously worked out okay. And, but that's how I got on the NuCanoe was basically Mountain State kayak anglers were so huge. It, set me up for what I have and where I'm at. And that's basically how I got on it. I'm just a big guy. I'm a phony.
That's crazy, man. It's crazy, but it like that. It worked out, It's I guess we could say Everett makes good mistakes.
Oh, Everett makes probably the best thing that's ever happened to him. I'm sorry, Dana, that's not true. Dana's definitely the best thing that's ever happened to him. I'm a close second, though.
Oh man, that's cool, man. That is super cool. I love that. I love that.
And what's crazy, that was the short version of that story.
All right. We got a quick question in here from Terry Cooper. I promise you we get to your question. It says, can I get a lower F12 seat? It says set, but I'm sure it means seat. You want to take that one or you want me to hit it?
Probably just depends on which seat base he has. I mean, does he have the Pinnacle set up or the Fusion set up?
Yeah.
If he has the Fusion set up, just you can flip the seat base and throw a spacer on there, and then you can still have the 360 ability. But it is a much lower setting. And if you have the Pinnacle set up, the only way you can really lower that from the factory is just do away with the swivel and just go straight to the use the I forget what they call those brackets, the long
the little spacers
brackets, and just put those upside down and mount it directly like that.
There you go. And I believe some of that instructional stuff is on the actual NuCanoe website as well. So hopefully that helps you, Terry. If any of you guys or gals out there watching have any questions for either Patrick or a general NuCanoe question as we're going through the stream, feel free to ask away and we will answer it to the best of our abilities.
Actually, that some of my friends might actually ask questions on this show.
We got Garrett Pate in the chat. It says, I met Patrick Randolph on his trip to Georgia on the Okumlagi. I don't know.
Okumlagi.
I'm horrible with names, so I'm just forewarning y'all.
Dick, man, he's a super guy, and as soon as I met him, it was he's one of them guys like, man, known him forever. But yeah, he just came. He was on the river, came right up. He was at the takeout where we were at, and cool dude, man.
Nice. So you're in an unlimited now, but what were you floating in primarily before that?
It's hard to say primarily because I love them all, man. I've literally had every model they offer. I go through phases where I get in moods and I like certain things. Like I was on an F10 kick for like a year and a half, and I took an F10 about as far as you can take one, and just loved it. And actually, a buddy of mine had a 12 and needed a 10 due to him and his wife doing some camping, and he was having trouble hauling with an F12, but he could haul 10, so I sold it to him. And then Frontier, I primarily keep a Frontier 12 and the Unlimited and a Flint. I keep the Flint around for weekdays. I keep it in my truck, and if I get time after work, I'll hit the river. I work on along a river, and so if I have time in the evening, I'll go hit the river, and that Flint's just such a grab and go.
Yeah.
Grab and go. And, I just keep roped up in the bed of my truck. But the Unlimited is definitely my jam right now.
All right. We'll get to that. I want to go back to the F10 because I think that's a boat that's really overlooked a lot, right? And it depends on the region you're in and stuff like that. But I think the F10 gets overlooked a ton. Mm-hmm. So can you go into depth? Like, what do you like about it? Why you grab that F10? What are some of the features that, make you like that for what you're doing and where you would primarily use that, like lakes, rivers, creeks, things like that, man?
So I liked the F10 because one, I think they're 66 pounds or 67 pounds. They have insane stability for a 10-foot boat. There's not an 11-foot boat on the market that even touches the stability of that F10. I used it primarily in rivers, but I'm a river person. I mean, lakes are cool and all, but they're just not my thing. I like chasing them small jaws in the rivers and creeks, and so I like the F10 for that because it was very stable. It could handle. I had a power pole on the back. It would turn on a dime. I think too the F10 gets a little bit of discredibility, if that's a word, because of if you're on a big water with it and you're making long paddle strokes, it kind of turns as you're paddling, but
doesn't track history.
My first boat, F10. My first NuCanoe was an F10. and I fished Dale Hollow Lake in it.
Okay.
You know, some of my best friends I've met, that was one of the first people I met kayaking, and we took a trip to Dale Hollow, and I paddled all over Dale Hollow in that thing. Didn't have any trouble. It's great, but I also like it too because I kind of made my hatch. I did away with the hinges and used like a bungee system on the hatch.
Okay.
Because I could take it off and there was no foam or anything in those boats. So you could actually put your rods inside of it. And it was nice for dragging through. I've been known to put in some pretty rough areas and stuff like that, drag through the weeds and things like that. So I enjoyed it for that purpose. And it's 10 foot long. It barely sticks out of the back of your truck. It's lightweight. And again, the stability. That was some of the things I really liked about it. And I wouldn't really categorize it as any certain water type of boat. I think it's definitely strongest in big rivers, but it will handle lakes no problem. I mean, I had no issues with it. And I actually got a buddy, Nick Stepp. He uses one with a bow mount on it. And that dude, he runs all over the place with it. He's a Kentuckian, and he fishes all the big lakes with it, catches big muskie out of it. I mean, he stands up and runs a foot control trolling motor with it, crankbaiting, swim baiting, all that. So in fact, that's my Frontier 10 right there in that picture. The one
Which
on
one?
the right, the camo and with the orange. Yeah, that one.
Oh, look at you.
That was the day I met Garrett Pate. That was on the Ocmulgee River. We took those pictures.
That's pretty
crazy.
slick, man.
Yeah,
I did pull it up. I looked. It is 62 pounds.
Oh,
62 pounds.
Yeah, see, so that's prime. I mean, you can't. It blows my mind that it's not more popular. It really does. And I don't know why it's not, but it is an incredible little craft.
There's all the specs there for you folks tuning in. 10 foot in length, 39 inches wide. Hull weight is 62 pounds. Max weight capacity inside the boat's 500 pounds. You could even put a 2.5 horse outboard motor on it. So boom, there you go. So, so this is a great question. I4 Cap is tuning in on YouTube. Just found us, didn't know we were doing a show. We're here every Tuesday evening, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 5 o'clock on the West Coast. But this is the next question, man. So what are you primarily fishing for? I know you mentioned smallmouth. That's kind of like tugging at your heartstrings there, man. But like, is there anything else that you're targeting out there? Or, do you travel, a couple times a year to go target a certain species of fish or anything?
So definitely smallmouth is my love.
Okay.
I fish for largemouth when I have to. Largemouth is kind of that fish where I feel like if you've caught one, you've caught them all. They all look the same. They all make one big pull.
Those are fighting words, bro. Those are fighting words.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm sorry. Right now, I'm not even watching this anymore. This guy's a But smallmouth, man, you don't know if they're going to be striped, spotted, fat, skinny. They're just mean. They hate everything, and I love them. But I travel. I target shoal bass. I do love shoal bass. River spots. I like river spots, too. I forgot about that. Raccoon Creek Outfitters, one of our dealers up here, they have a pretty little what is that called? Like a canoe, like livery, like they can shuttles and stuff like that. Really cool people and super people. I mean, they treat you like family when you're there. But they have like river spots and stuff like that in an area behind their place, and those are fun to catch. But smallmouth is my main. I travel for smallmouth and shoal bass, and then it would be river spots, and then largemouth. But I've caught walleye. I've never caught a muskie. I've hooked them, but I've never got them in. But I'm just I like smallmouth, man. That's pretty much all I target on purpose.
I've never targeted muskie, but I caught one 2 years ago on a shaky head. Like, how does
Yeah,
that work?
that's crazy.
Like 12-pound test. I landed it. It was like 36 inches, but I was like, what the heck did I just hook? I thought I just caught the new Illinois state record largemouth. I'm super jacked. We're going to the scales, and then it comes up and it's a muskie. And I was like, wah, wah, wah.
No whammies, no whammies. Oh.
Super cool, man. Super cool. Matt Davis in the house. He said, boss man, sorry I got on late today.
Matt Davis, that's a Raccoon Creek boy right there, man. That's an up and comer. He is quietly a really good angler. He catches them everywhere he goes. He's constantly at some point showing up in the top 10 in tournaments. And he's a Flint guy. He's a Flint head. He loves his Flint. And
that's cool.
Yeah, he's got a XI3 on a Flint and a pivot drive on a Flint. And yeah, he's just one of them guys, man. He always seems to find fish. He caught a 20-inch river smallie not long ago. And, if you know anything about smallmouth, the 20 is kind of like that's the holy grail line. That's where you want to get. And he did it in a river, and that's pretty cool. I mean, you can go to Erie and Great Lakes and catch them, but, you get really, I think you get 19 and a half, 19 3/4 and up on a river, and you're doing really good with the smallmouth. And he's always catching muskie and smallmouth and spots and largemouth. And he'd be a good guest. You ought to have him on one night. He's full of cool stuff.
I know a guy. We might be able to do that.
Yeah.
I know a guy.
Yeah.
I4 catfish all the way, baby. If you want to hear about some good catfishing, I did an episode a couple weeks ago with our team member Logan Bloomfield catching big cats over on the Susquehanna River in Pennsylvania.
That's literally who I was going to say.
After we finish this, go check that out. Don't leave yet.
Logan is another one, man. He's another one of my guys. And, he's always, I swear, man, if you see a picture of Logan, he is, he's got a big something in his hand, whether it's a catfish or a smallmouth. Mark Savage got his pivot drive going.
Yeah, buddy. He's ready for some river fishing.
That's right. That pivot drive's the boss on the rivers, man. That breakaway, that is nice. Very, very nice. I've definitely used it to my advantage to catch fish, having that pivot drive for sure.
Nice. Yeah, I like it, man. The only time I've actually used it was on an F12 up on Green Bay fishing for smallmouth.
Oh, nice.
That was last year, and I loved it, man. It was super nice, and nice and easy to break down too. So. Yeah, I would suggest anybody out there like considering the pivot drive. Most of our dealers have a demo unit. Go try them out, man, or reach out to one of our team members. They're all listed on our website. Reach out, find a guy that's got one, and I'm sure they'd be more than happy to set you guys up to try it out. But yeah, that pivot drive, super sweet, man, super sweet. So anytime we have any one of our regional directors on, I always hit them with what's the best thing about your job and what's the worst thing about your job?
Oh, man. The best thing about my job would probably be my guys, man. The guys who fish for the Mountain States. I got they're good. They're good. They're diehards. They love NuCanoe. That's definitely the best part, man, is I've met some really cool people, and I've definitely got to do things and get things that I would have never been able to do or get otherwise. The worst part, oh man, the worst part. I don't like sounding like that guy, but man, it's not. I mean, there's times when it's like you got guys that call a lot or text a lot, which is fine. But it seems like the only time I get like a lot of emails and texts is when it's like the worst possible time to get them. Like
sure.
my daughter's like, Dad, I want to watch a movie, and we're 4 bites into popcorn, and it's like, burr, 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 burr. That's the worst part. And it's not even that I care that they're doing it. It's just it always seems to happen at the worst possible time. But other than that, I love this gig. I'm very fortunate. I'll say that.
Right on. Yeah, I mean, most of the guys that we've talked to, that are regional directors and stuff, they have a hard time finding something bad about it. I think the only one that had something bad to say was my regional director, Matt Gibson, and it was that he had to deal with me. So touche, my friend, touche. I'm sure he's watching tonight. So, but it's and that's the thing too. And I forget, we haven't had Everett on here yet, but I've done a separate podcast. What's that?
Do we really want Everett on here though? I mean, we kind of see him a lot.
Dude, he's been ghosting me, bro. I'm calling him out right here. I'm calling him out. Oh, but that's one thing. I did a separate podcast with him. I do a separate podcast, Paddle and Fin, and we had Everett on for a 2-part series just because we had such a great conversation. We're like, dude, we got to break this up. Yeah. But we had talked about that because he's kind of the head dude when it comes to the team, right? And he's like, man, we have such a great group of guys and gals. Like, I can't think of a bad thing to say. He's like, yeah, I get a ton of phone calls and emails, but he's like, to me, that's like, he takes pride in that.
Dude, because now you have no idea his phone and how much it rings and vibrates and dings from text calls and messages. Like,
oh, dude, yeah,
I'm telling you, it is unhealthy.
Yeah, you should hang out with me for a day. Maybe that's what we'll do. Well, me and Everett will hang out for a day. We'll see whose phone goes off the most.
What you all should do, throw them in a bowl and leave them there and go fishing. And don't worry about it.
I say we leave them at the bottom of the lake forever and just go fishing.
Yeah, Everett definitely handles it well, but he's got a good support system at home and all that stuff. So he's another one of the lucky ones.
Absolutely. I4 Cap is asking how much they cost, and he's referring to the pivot drive.
Oh man, you might have to have that one. I think they're $11.99 or $12.99 to your door, $12.49. I think they're in that ballpark. I feel bad for not knowing that. I should probably know the answer to that.
I know it's in that 1,100 range.
I'm going to say 13 to your door.
$12.49.
$12.49. That does include lifetime warranty. So,
yep.
You don't have to worry about, hi, we've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. It's all, you don't have to worry about that stuff.
Yeah. Yep. There's a couple of pictures of it there. There's one rigged up on a Flint, on a Tundra Flint. But yeah, it is $12.49, and it is for the specific boat as well. Although I have been told the F12 version, if you have the old F12 version and you're getting a new unlimited, those will work. Look at all these NuCanoe guys in here. $12.49 calling it out. Way to be on top.
Gibson, look at that. Write that down that he did something today.
I owe you 20, bro. I'll PayPal you after this is over.
I love you, Matt. Just kidding.
No, you're not kidding. But I always every show I ask this question. You got a Frontier 12. It's rigged up tandem. You can go fishing for the day with anyone, dead or alive. Who's it going to be? Patrick Randolph.
Who's it going to be? Anybody, dead or alive. Holy crap, for the day?
You get a whole day.
So tough.
24 hours. on the water?
Probably, man, probably I had a best friend got killed in a car wreck right out of high school. I'd have to say Sean, definitely. I miss him hard. It's been 20 years, and it hurts just as much today as it did the first day. And it definitely would be him, man. I'd love to have 24 hours to just punch him in the face for how he wrecked and all that, and then tell him I love him and all that good stuff. But yeah, that would definitely be the guy.
Right on, brother. I like it. It's that question's always brought up some interesting answers. You know, a lot of dads, grandpas. There was, I believe, I forget who else it was. Kind of similar story as what you're talking about. Who was it that Brooke said last week? David Brooke. Shout out to David Brooke. If you missed last week's episode, go back and watch that. He had an interesting answer, I remember. But it's always cool to ask that question. And
Yeah, that's a good one.
yeah,
I
see.
only pick one because I mean, yeah, I'd love to say my grandpa and all that, but I had a long, good life with my grandparents and stuff like that. And Sean, that one was just cut too short. I'd like to have a little more time with that one. And my
There you
dad,
go, man.
we spend as much time as possible together. I'm pretty tight with my family. Tuesday nights is hot dog night. We do hot dogs and cheese fries and strawberry shortcake every Tuesday religiously. And then we try and spend weekends together when we can and all that. So
I need your address, bro. I'm gonna come visit you on Tuesdays, and we'll do the show straight from hot dog night, bro.
You come through West Virginia, I'm telling you, my mom and dad will feed the dang neighborhood. They took hot dogs to the neighbors, and they'll call 20 people. Hey, y'all want a hot dog tonight, or whatever. My parents are good people, and they growing up, my friends were always at the house and always coming over, and they were kind of the all parent and stuff like that. But yeah, they definitely would say, "Come on up, man. If you ever roll through here, you be sure and look me up. I'll feed you best hot dog you've ever had."
It's looking like fall this year. I'm supposed to be out there.
Well, you look me up, sure.
I'll hit you up, man. I'm supposed to go out there and visit my good friend John Rapp. So
yeah, come on down. I'll hook you up.
Right on, brother. Well, before we close this down, man, any shout outs, thank yous, any of that good stuff, final thoughts, something you want to mention before we end the show, my friend?
Definitely shout out to NuCanoe. I mean, those guys, man, I know people bash them sometimes, people praise them, but I think if more people really knew how little we are and just the massive amounts of things we actually do with how little, I think they probably back off a little bit on some of the things certain people are unhappy with. And, this is definitely this company is not ran by investors. It doesn't have a board. Blake is CEO.
Blake's your board.
The janitor. I mean, he's everything. And then he's got a pretty good support crew. I know he's got some new people helping him out, and it's showing. And, it all trickles down. I think that's why we have the best team on the market. I mean, I know we get called a lot of things because we're passionate, but the guys that are here, we know what we're about, and we know what the product's about. And I think that matters a lot. And I know I can call any guy on this team right now and get anything I needed. So definitely a bunch of stand-up guys. And shout out to all the team members, the regional directors, everybody. I think this is definitely the coolest bunch of guys that there is. And,
except Matt Gibson.
well, I mean, he did get.
Oh, that's right. He did something finally.
Yeah.
So, my bad,
Matt. But yeah, shout out to Blake, and shout out to the Blakes. wife and kids and Everett's wife and all the people, my wife and all the guys who have families and things like that who find time to do regional director roles, the Unlimited podcast, your podcast. I mean, you got Paddle and Fin. I've been listening to that for a long time, and I enjoy it. It's a great podcast. I'm glad people like you take the time to do this stuff. And I don't think people like my wife and Everett's wife and Blake's wife and the families, I don't think they get enough due respect. That'd be a pretty cool podcast, man. Get the wives on here. Let them talk about.
You sure you want me to, Patrick?
I paused there for just a second because I flashed.
Sure you want me to do that?
But it would be cool to hear their side of things and how they see it and
absolutely
like that. But definitely shout out to them, man.
Right on, man. Right on. I like that. Well, everybody, go follow Patrick on Instagram at Patrick Randolph _fishing. You can find him on Facebook. If you're in his area, you're looking to demo a boat or something, hit him up. Or if you're in his territory, you could probably set you up with a guy or a dealer in that area to get you a demo set up. If you guys came into the show late, no worries. It'll be on Facebook and YouTube. You could always go back and watch, or it gets uploaded to all the major podcast platforms. You can go and listen at any time. It's always there. As soon as I get done recording, I upload it and it gets distributed right away. I know I saw, I'm going to scroll back because I don't want to screw this up. Wesley Littlefield is watching on YouTube, and he said, love the podcast. I listen to them at work and dream about being on the water. Keep up the good work. Thanks for the support, my friend. Looks like he's holding some awesome ducks. I need to find out where he's at and go duck hunting with him.
No doubt. He might keep a frontier and a duck blind. Never know.
Yeah. I'll be on water this fall in my Unlimited with the duck blind, and we'll be blasting away.
Blast, baby.
Yeah, buddy. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. We will catch you next week. We're here every single Tuesday, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 5 p.m. out on the West Coast. And like I said, if you ever miss us, you can always go back and watch the old episodes. Patrick, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you taking the time away from the family tonight to sit down and chat some NuCanoe love. And thanks, brother. And for all you boys and girls out there, as always, tight lines, smooth paddling. Peace.